Future Learn and Royal Holloway University presents Equality, Diversity and Inclusion in Casting.
Hello there, my name's Alastair Coomer. I'm a white man, I'm 45 years old, I have blonde hair, I'm wearing a blue shirt and blue trousers. I am the head of casting at the National Theatre, which means that I'm in charge of a team of 4 or 5 people, and we look after the casting of all the productions at the National Theatre, both on the South Bank in our 3 theatres and also around the country. And we also work with the Learning and Education Department. We think about equality and diversity in our casting on a daily basis, whether that's looking at casting a classic play like a Shakespeare, or whether it's working on a brand new play, and the work at the National Theatre covers all those bases. One way to think about it is that it all depends on the work that you're doing. So a good example is if you're reviving a Shakespeare play, the conversation will be very quickly turn to making sure that the company is diverse, throughout, whether that's in terms of ethnicity or disability, and increasingly it's around gender as well. I worked at the Donmar Warehouse on the all-female Shakespeare trilogy that Phyllida Lloyd directed, and I think that was a real sort of watershed moment for looking at casting Shakespeare productions. When I first started at the National Theatre and creating lists of actors for Shakespeare or classic plays, they were nearly always white men, long lists of white men, and that's completely changed, and that's a really brilliant development. And I think, but then the other type of casting is when you're working on a play that's incredibly specific. It's written to happen in a very particular place or a very particular time. And so what you're working to then is the writer's intention, the writer's description of those characters. And sometimes it's the job of the casting director to challenge that. So a play that was written now that only featured an all-white cast, one would ask the question why that was. And I think it would be very rare that you would see that play. In fact, it would probably almost feel deliberate by the writer. And increasingly as well, a lot of writers are including in their instruction to the actors, to anyone reading the play, instruction even to the audience. You'll often read now a script will arrive and a writer might put a very clear instruction about how they want that production cast. So a good recent example would be The Welkin by Lucy Kirkwood, and at on the front page of that play when it first arrived, on the cast list was an instruction saying that the play, which is set in Suffolk in the 18th century, should be cast not to represent an idea of Suffolk in the 18th century, it should be cast to reflect the city in which the play takes place. So we made sure that the cast of The Welkin, and that was close to 20 actors, was a really good cross-section in terms of in terms of ethnicity and in terms of disability as well. I'm really hopeful, and I've got good grounds to hope that the work that's happened in the last 20 years doesn't reverse, and that all people making theatre become as versed in this as many casting directors are, really, which is to really think about diversity from the very moment you start making the production right through to the end. Audio description is a really interesting part of that. It's often a part of a production that is added on once the production is made. And my view has increasingly been that audio description should be included in the very early stages of the production, so that the people who are describing the production can really understand how the show was made and can be party to those conversations. And then I think that the description will feel more authentic and feel more a part of that production, rather than something that's slightly on the margin or that's only existing for a smaller group of people, when it should be or could be as a part of the whole production and enjoyed by everybody.
Royal Holloway University supported by the Arts and Humanities Research Council and Vocalise.